My people, I've made this video as a follow-up to the video I made just a couple of days ago. In that video, I presented to you what Raila will announce. Some of you have called me tribalist. Some of you have praised me. Some of you are indifferent. Some of you maybe just watched and wondered, what the heck? All in all, I thank you for watching. I'm making this video to clarify, but most importantly, to continue to give you the way forward. This world has changed a lot. If you've been alive as long as I have, 60 years, maybe you can tell that the world has changed. But if you just a Gen Z or a millennium or something, maybe you don't know. Now, if you're older than me, or probably the same age, we are looking at this world the same way. But we all have our biases. What are those biases? The way you are brought up. You might have been brought up in Kachiliba. You might have been brought up in Rongai. I was brought up in Nairobi. So I'm looking at this life that I had in Kenya mostly through my darubini of a Nairobi-raised person. I'm not a tribalist. I grew up with all tribes. I had good times and bad times with all tribes. But we are talking about the leadership of Kenya and where Kenya has been. So that's what I want to talk about today, my people, okay? Don't take me wrong. Just listen. Have an open mind, open ear, and also open your eyes. You may see it my way. If you don't see it my way, just let's disagree. But don't brand me tribalist, okay? Because I'm not judging you. All I'm doing is analyzing how things were before, where we have come from, and where we are going. And talking about that, you see this guy here? I call him Magrosot. Darubini. It is an instrument that, let me tell you something. I live very far from Kenya. You all see Kenya every day. You all see it as you live in it. But some of us see it from the bird's eye view. We look at Kenya and we see the whole picture. Some of you just look at it narrowly from where you are. Kirinyaga, Kondele, Kericho, Masai, Mara, whatever you're looking at it, some of you are looking at it like that. But some of us who are far away, we are looking at it from a bird's eye view. And in order to see Kenya the right way, sometimes I rely on the Magrosot. I have to look and look again to understand. And in looking, you have to understand Kenya by looking at the past. And then you have to look at yourself. So sometimes you have to turn the Magrosot like that to look at you, okay, for you to understand. So today, I'm here to give you a little more information, news, things that you need to know, because Kenya is changing. America is changing. The world is changing. I'm here to give you the changes that are coming to Kenya. But before I do that, let me pay some bills, okay? You know I'm an author. I'm not bragging, but I've written some books that you may be interested in, or you may be interested in telling someone about them. And maybe you may be interested in doing a little reading and learn something, okay? So, one of the books that I've written, it's called Sandra and Charlie. This is a thriller. It's about a guy who came from Kenya and lives in Tallahassee and falls in love with this girl called Sandra here in Tallahassee. This book is the story of their encounter. It's got a lot of twists and turns. You may like it. Sandra and Charlie, available at Amazon.com. The next one is Hyena and the Rock. This book right here is for the kids. It's about this little hyena and this big rock. And these are the stories that were told by our ancestors. You may think it's got nothing. It's got a lot of teaching. And the kids need to read it. Or you read it to your kids during bedtime stories, you know. Teach them about the hyena and how life is. They will like it. This book right here is about Luanda Magere. Some of you know about the legend Luanda Magere. I'm telling you, he was a tough cookie. It is the story of the warring factions of the Luo and the Lango. Now you can see, the Luo and the Lango used to fight. The Luo are not settled in around Lake Victoria by chance. It is by fight. The Kalenjin or the Lango are not in the mountains by chance. It is by design. That's where they were hiding, in the highlands. The story of Luanda Magere is told here. Now, you know, Okoitio Mtata, one of my best buddies, wrote a play called Luanda Magere, but this is a novel, okay? Get it at Amazon. The other book is right here. It's called One Currency, One Africa. This book is inspired by the visit of Raila Amolo Odinga to Tallahassee when I hosted him here in 2007. We brainstormed and we came up with a plan for Africa. An amazing plan. We talked and I put it here. And the only way never to forget it was to put it on paper. So it's right here. If Raila had won the AUC chairman, maybe he would have used some of these ideas to implement some changes. But it's not all over. It's not over until it's over, because some of these ideas that are here are now taking shape in Africa. Read this book, One Currency, One Africa, How to Get a United Africa. Okay, guys? Find it on Amazon. Last but not least, Fela Kuti, The Trial. This gentleman right here is one of my heroes. You know what he said? In most cases, you talk about democracy. But guess what? It's democracy. Democracy. Because people are not really practicing equality, division of labor, division of resources. Most of the time, people are grabbing. And that's what I also will talk about. Tribes getting into power and then just taking. And the resources are unevenly divided. Anyway, this play right here, it's a musical play. Fela Kuti, The Trial. Find it, read it. Great story, good music. Okay, now, having done that, ladies and gentlemen, today I wanted to tell you where we are headed. Now, there's some people who wanted me to answer a few questions here and there are some corrections to be made. Yes, Kenyatta ruled for 15 years, not 12. So what? Doesn't change anything. He was there for 15 years, okay? Some people have said, oh, Jaramogi did not leave the position for Jomo Kenyatta, that the white people wanted to give the position to somebody who had where the white people had settled. What does it matter? They were about to give it to Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. Read the book, Not Yet Uhuru, so that you can understand. Don't twist the history of Kenya. We know the colonialists were ready to give the position to Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, and he said he wasn't worthy. He passed it on to Johnston Kamau. I am not changing that story. It is history. If you can't see it with your own eyes, get your Darubini. Look, read, do your research, and you'll come back to me and you'll see what I'm telling you is the truth. So, where are we going? Ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you something that will shock you. You all have been trying to guide your constitution and guide the politics to ape the United States. I've been in the United States 30 years. I know you watch a lot about the United States. I know you follow the United States. I did too when I was in Kenya. But I want to tell you that the politics of the United States is not the best. United States politics, or if you want to call it democracy, is not democracy. United States is not something you want to even align yourself with. If you ask me, we Africans need to chart our own course. We don't have to follow people. We need to lead. Look at what is happening in the United States right now. We have a constitution. But do you think the president is following the constitution? No. He's doing things his own way. And guess what? He's succeeding because he's being the tough guy. Now, the tough guy here is somebody who gets into power and sits into that power and commands that power. Obama was in that seat. Did he command it? No. That is the problem with the Democrats. When they take power, they're nonchalant. They don't even know they're in power. Therefore, they cannot even make effective change. What did Obama do for Africa? Answer me. What did Joe Biden do for Africa? Answer me. What is Trump not doing for Africa? Answer me. So therefore, I put it to you. Let me give you an example. President Biden, during his last days in office, was given a through pass. You know what a through pass is. You all know soccer. You know, if you're here, and a ball has been, the ball's going this way, and a ball has been hit like this. All you have to do is to just take it and run to the goal. The guy was given a through pass. What was the through pass? The Supreme Court gave a decision that a sitting president, no matter what he does in his capacity as a president, no matter what he does as in his seat of executive power, he cannot be tried for it. So how old is Joe Biden? I think he's 82, right? If he was to stay in power, if he won this election, in about 4 more years, he would be 86. How much more did he have? Was he gonna live after 86? How long? Not much longer. But he saw that Trump is an existential threat to the globe, to democracy. He saw that. He knew that. And here the Supreme Court tells him that whatever you do in your capacity as president, you will never be tried for it. He let Donald Trump run for office. That is the worst mistake he ever did to us. Because he had the power to stop him. Okay? That's what I'm trying to say. If Trump was in the same position Biden was at, and he's being told that Biden is an existential threat to the United States existence, what would he have done? He would have thrown the guy to jail. So anyway, enough of the United States. Let me come back to Kenya, guys. I know you're wondering, what is it am I trying to say about Kenya? The truth of the matter is that President Ruto won this election. And I'm saying won because the Supreme Court said so. Okay? Now, I know in the other video I said that Raila Odinga won all those elections. I stand by that because that is not the official position. So when we're talking about the official position, Ruto was declared the winner. Just like Kibaki was declared the winner, Uhuru was declared the winner. Moi won all those elections. Okay? Those are the official position. But the unofficial position, we know. And I told you in the previous video. So, Ruto is the official president of the of Kenya. Ruto, what is he doing? Is he really ruling? Is he really governing? Or is he just playing politics? Is he just on the cars, on top of cars, responding to everybody? Ruto needs to sit into that position and run this country. Ruto needs to deliver. He needs to follow up with his manifestos and deliver, not cheat people. I'm not saying he should cheat people. I'm not saying he should tell lies, but we need to see more of his action and less of his appearances in public events. Okay? Ruto needs to sit and lead. Now, when it comes to Raila, what has happened? A lot of you are asking, what is going to happen? I told you in the last video what was going to happen. If you need more clarification, if you need more, let me tell you this. I looked at this thing. I looked at what happened in Mombasa. And I looked at how they're behaving. And I'm looking at the behavior of your politicians. What did Ruto do in Mombasa? What Ruto did in Mombasa is not very different from what Uhuru Kenyatta did when he won re-election. Do you remember? When Uhuru won the re-election, I believe it was the re-election of 2017. So 2018, January, Uhuru gave an executive order that made Matiang'i essentially the prime minister. Yes, Trump is giving executive orders left and right. Trump has given almost 146 executive orders right now. Ruto, just last week, when Raila had returned from Addis Ababa in Dubai, Ruto called Raila to Mombasa and gave the first executive order of this year. And that executive order has essentially made Raila the executive prime minister of Kenya. You may ask yourself, is that constitutional? Do we have a position like that in the Constitution? No. But does Ruto have the power to do that? Well, he did it. The formalities are coming. I'm not being tribalist by telling you this. I'm telling you what has happened. If you don't like the message, don't brand the messenger. Don't kill the messenger. Don't paint the messenger. I'm telling you what happened. So, that's what you need to hear. I will come to it in a minute. Let me return to my good brother, Gachagua, Rigiji. Ladies and gentlemen, in my previous video, I talked about how Raila was cheated many times. How Jaramogi was cheated. He fought hard for Jomo Kenyatta, only to be kicked out. Raila came and fought hard. In fact, before even Raila was in politics for the presidency, one other thing you need to understand, Raila was detained. When Raila was in detention, among the pretty petty privileges he had, Raila found out that Kenneth Njindo Matiba was sick and was about to die. And what did he do? He sneaked out a note to his wife, Ida, and told Ida to go and tell the people and release the message that something is happening to Kenneth Matiba and they need to agitate for him to be released to get treatment. Raila did that. Okay? So that's another thing that Raila did for you guys. I will come to it. In addition to that, I talked about the elections, that many elections Raila won and was cheated by you guys. Now, Gachagua recently was impeached. He was impeached. Why? Because he said, this government is for shareholders. And shareholders must eat and get positions. And those who are not shareholders must wait in the line to get the breadcrumbs. That's what Gachagua said. That was wrong, and he was impeached, and he was evicted. But to be honest, was that the real reason why Gachagua was impeached? No. Gachagua was impeached because when the Gen Z spontaneously revolted, Gachagua was already in the bad books with the president. And Gachagua used that to try and buy this revolution, or to try and take it. You know how they say power is not given, power is taken? Gachagua wanted to take that and claim it is his. Gachagua went to Mombasa, and guess what he did? He basically gave a press statement after the president and kind of tried to commandeer the Gen Z revolution. The Gen Z revolution was leaderless, rudderless, thoughtless, whatever you want to call it. Gachagua wanted to be the leader of that. And in it, he wanted to evict this president out of office. That was treason. That was treasonable. And that is why he was impeached and removed. Some of the people in Central Province voted to impeach him because it was wrong. Now, Gachagua having been impeached and removed, what is he doing? What is he doing? He is now the biggest mouthpiece in Central Province, telling people that he was cheated. That he was cheated by somebody who knew to sing Kikuyu songs very well. Somebody who came to the churches, somebody who convinced him not to have a political party, somebody who he trusted, cheated him. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you, my people, I have told you that Raila has been cheated many times. He picks himself up and he tries again. He picks himself up and he trusts again. He did it many times. How many times has a Kikuyu been cheated? 0. 0. Let me look. I'm looking at the Magrosot. Look at the history of Kenya. How many times has a Kikuyu been cheated politically? 0. Look at it. Look at yourself. Go into your brain. Take the Magrosot, the Darubini backwards, so that it can look inside your mind. How many times has a Kikuyu been tricked, cheated out of office politically? 0. All these other tribes have never shortchanged a Kikuyu. We are honest people. When we say you are the one, we vote for you. 100%. But even if it's not 100%, wholeheartedly, we vote for you. This was the first time that a Kikuyu is saying they were cheated. Well, Mr. Riggy G, Mr. Truthful Man, you have just made the Kikuyu feel the pain of being cheated. Yes, Ruto may have just given you a taste of your own medicine. What Ruto has done for you guys is what you did for Raila, is what you did for Mudavadi, and it is what you did to Jaramogi, and you did it to other people. Because you always want power. And let me tell you, why has the world changed? Why do you think this world is changing? Because of politics? Well, what is politics? Yeah, I know that's a very rhetorical question. What is politics? Let me give you one answer about what politics is. Politics is the fight for resources. Who is going to control the resources? That is what politics is. Look at how Trump is now asking Zelensky to sign that Zelensky is going to give almost half of their minerals to the United States. Trump is unashamedly forcing Zelensky to want to sign that. Why am I telling you about these resources, control of resources? When Kenyatta was in power, he controlled resources. Where did those resources go? A lot of those resources trickled to Mount Kenya. And let me tell you another thing about this Mount Kenya thing. Please, those of you who are calling me tribalists, let me tell you something. Mount Kenya was named after Kenya. Kenya was not named after Mount Kenya. Okay? So, whereas you come from the mountain, Mount Kenya, does not give you the feeling that Kenya is yours alone. Kenya belongs to all of us. So let me get back to controlling resources. Resources trickle down to the Kikuyu during President Jomo Kenyatta. A lot of resources. If you looked at the other parts of Kenya, they were left undeveloped. For 15 years. I thought it was 12, but you corrected me that it was 15. You're right. 15 years. Resources trickle down to your area. Then comes Moi. I think it is 24, but if it is more, if that's even worse. Resources trickle down to Rift Valley. But while resources were still trickling down to Rift Valley, because you guys had resources for 15 years, your area was left a little better. We didn't have much. Resources didn't reach the other areas. Now then comes President Kibaki. President Kibaki tried. He built the big roads with the help of Engineer Raila Amolo Odinga, who was the Minister for Roads. Roads were built. A lot of good roads are in Central Province. We have this big road here that is in Nairobi. But other than that, the other areas still have bad roads. Yes, we brought in the new constitution, thanks to Raila Odinga. President Ruto fought against this Katiba. But this Katiba was brought by the sweat of Raila and those who are in the Orange Democratic Movement. They fought hard for this constitution. But this constitution brought devolution. Devolution is that money is supposed to go to those places. This money has not quite reached there fully. It is a step in the right direction, but it hasn't reached there fully. Okay? Now, I want to address another thing right here. Please do not call me a tribalist, but I'm going to address it. I'm going to address this issue that you guys say, one man, 1 shilling, 1 vote. What do you mean by that? That 1 man, 1 shilling, 1 vote. That means that per the number of the population, money needs to be devolved per the number of the population. So, my brothers and sisters, do we really know the population of Kenya? Do we really know the correct numbers? No. Those numbers have been manipulated for election purposes. Those numbers have been manipulated so that some people can control resources. Elections have not been fair because census has not been fair. Let me tell you, I'm not the one saying this. Sonko said that during elections or during politics, when he was in government, they used to create, even get cars that, because they were floating in money, they would get cars, they would go and burn those cars and say those cars were burnt by the Luos. Sonko said that. Moses Kuria said this. They stole this election. Mutahi Ngunyi, the person who crafted that common and very famous statement, tyranny of numbers, he has recently said there was no tyranny of numbers. It was just something they crafted to win this election before it was even started. They say that the Central Province had so much votes, Kalenjin had so much votes, and therefore Raila already lost this election before it even started. So, if you don't believe me, I am not for the fact that people need to manipulate numbers in order to win. You've heard what Eden Duale has just said recently, that the refugees in the camps are going to be given IDs so that they can vote. The refugees in the Dadaab camp and all those other camps that are there, I'm told, are close to 3 million votes. I'm sure the Kikuyu are going to fight against that. Perhaps other people will fight too. But what is the right thing to do? The right thing to do is to have the truth. Kenya needs to speak the truth, okay? So, control of resources is what people are fighting against, are fighting for. People are fighting for control of resources. Kikuyus have had these resources. If you want to understand how this country is developed, the tools are there. Go on the internet, download this app called Google Earth, and then just go and just scroll. In Google Earth, just go look at Murang'a, look at Kiambu, look at Nyeri, and then look at other places. You will see development right with your bare eyes. You will see what part is developed. Don't give me crap that these people have worked hard to earn that. Don't give me that crap that somebody like Rigiji, who was just a DO, is as rich as it is said he was. A DO. We have people who studied and had a lot of education and were doctors and were supposed to be earning way more than a DO, but they don't have what Rigiji has. So how has someone like Rigiji just amassed money? There are many Rigijis out there, stinking rich. Why? Because resources were channeled there. These resources were channeled through government contracts, through a lot of things. They got it. We didn't get it. Resources went. So let's come back to these elections. So several million people are going to be registered to vote. Some people are going to protest that, but it is what it is. We just would like to know the truth. Is there that much numbers of voters in Central Province? This issue about bragging about Central Province having the majority of numbers, is it really true? How do we know what is the truth? We will know. The truth will come out in this new world of people asking questions. We want answers, and we will want everything to be on the bare truth. So this issue about one man, one vote, what did they say? One man, one vote, 1 shilling? Is it an honest effort to spread resources fairly? Probably not. Why? I'm going to end by this. I've told you that democracy in America is not what we need to ape. This thing they call democracy is just an illusion. Okay? When folks were sitting down and there was one pot and we were drinking busa, changa, johi, or whatever it was we were drinking from that one pot as elders, and we came up with good decisions that ruled Africa, perhaps that's actually a better way of ruling than thinking that this white man democracy is the best. I'm in America. There is suffering here. Black folks suffer here. Okay? Those who are not controlling resources suffer. America is the biggest borrower of money from China. Yet, they say China is a dictatorial state. China is the nation that has built roads and railway lines in Africa. But they are a dictatorial state. Raila Odinga was castigated, not Raila, sorry. Jaramogi Oginga Odinga was castigated those days for associating with communism. Right now, President Donald Trump is actually aligning himself with Putin and with China. He is taking leadership to mean strong man government, strong arm. Is he being castigated by you Africans who actually, a lot of Africans campaigned for Trump? Do you like it? And if you do like Trump as a strong leader, Ruto needs to be strong, real strong, and lead this country with a lot of strength, so that there is not all this bickering and all these things going on, shenanigans in the government, and then in the end he'll be told he did not do anything. So what is coming? I want to put it to you. Don't shoot the messenger. Don't shoot the person giving you this. In 2027, I have looked at this thing. Nobody has given me any information. I have just looked at my Darubini. I've looked at my Microsoft. And I've looked and I've seen. Something new is coming. A new form of governance is coming to Kenya. Let me not shock you, but there will be no presidential election in Kenya in 2027. Yes, you heard it from me. There will be no presidential election. There will be elections. People will be elected. But the president will be elected in the Senate. The Prime Minister will be elected in the National Assembly. Both of those houses constitute parliament. That is what is going to happen. So this issue about 1 shilling, 1 man, 1 vote, may not necessarily surface. Because people like Gachagua, or people who are really very strongly urging for who is going to be the next president, or who is going to be this, or people trying to align themselves with this and that, that may not be necessary. All you'll have to do is to fight hard to get in one of them chambers, National Assembly or Senate. And then in there, the people who are in there are going to fight, and I don't mean physically, but to sell themselves, to be the popular person, so that you can be voted as the Prime Minister or the President. That is the way it's going to happen. But meanwhile, Executive Order number 1 of 2025 was already signed in county number 001. Executive Order number 001 was already signed in county number 001. That executive order made Raila Odinga the Prime Minister of Kenya. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what I wanted to tell you today. So I hope that we can sit back and talk, and I hope that you get to look at these things the way we look at them, through a bird's eye view, not a partisan, we are not in the pond. We are looking beyond the pond. We are outside looking at you guys in the pond, and we are seeing how you're fighting in that mud, and we are trying to see how it's going to be. Okay? Take care. Cheers.